It's NTT IndyCar Race Weekend. And of course, you know what that means. When they race, we race first. And now it's time for some top split action in the 2026 IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Godson, and welcome to a special Friday edition of the P1 broadcasting coverage of round 16 of 17. As one of my peers in the broadcasting business might say, the penultimate round of the 2026 IndyCar iRacing Series Championship Top Split, presented by 4D Racewear, as we come to today from the last oval of the season, the Milwaukee Mile. Today's race is scheduled for 250 laps, 250 iRacing miles around the historic 1 mile oval. Now, our normal Saturday 2 p.m. broadcast has been moved to today because, well, the race tomorrow. It's part of a doubleheader. We're going to race on Saturday and Sunday in the real NTT IndyCar Series. And it's going to start at 2:30 tomorrow for about the green flag coverage. Well, I got a feeling people might want to watch a real IndyCar race instead of our I almost said fake IndyCar race. Simulated IndyCar race. And I would imagine you're probably in the same boat with me, Ryan Skywalker. Good to have you here. I would imagine you much rather would watch the real stars and cars than the simulation that we will see here at the 1 mile oval.
Yeah, I prefer the real thing, but I don't mind calling one of these races as well. To be honest, I mean, Milwaukee in the real world, in the virtual world, or iRacing world, if you like. For me, it's one of my favourite tracks and probably one of the best oval tracks in general. It just produces fantastic racing.
Joining us today because Tony Supermex Antonio Estrada is not with us today. He had to work because this is 4 p.m. on a Friday still. We do have a guy that has a lot of experience here on this racetrack and broadcasting races here at this racetrack. It is Jacob Collins. Jacob, we'll go ahead and get into before we get into the starting lineup. Points are up on the screen here for everybody. This championship is basically over. Not quite over, but basically over. And Kevin Burrell is looking to cinch up his third straight championship here in the series. Welcome to the broadcast, by the way.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be quite the race here from the Milwaukee Mile. It's actually a track I got to race on as a small child that you would have seen maybe in the community Discord. I posted it a couple times, me driving my little go-kart down the front stretch here, but certainly a track near and dear to my heart. Growing up going to races, racing there. I was at the infamous 2007 Busch Series race where Denny Hamlin was flown in on the helicopter and ended up taking out Eric Almirola and getting put in the car, but lots of fun to be had here at the fairgrounds, and we're going to get another good race here today.
Let's get into today's starting lineup and take it away.
Yeah, Robert MilewauKee on the pole. No surprises there. He'll be alongside Daniel Falkingham in the second spot. Jesper Dahlgren for Rogue Racing will line up third alongside his teammate Kyle Clenworth in the fourth spot. Alan Berteau, Ty Keela around row 3. Jarrett Corey, Ricky Paz, Rogue Racing, Votive Racing, respectively. Ricky coming up just short last night in one of the races from Chicagoland in the Elite Racing League. Caleb Brashear for I5G will line up in 9th alongside Rashad Craig. We've got Jason Brophy in 11th for Power Slide alongside Alexander Shishnov. Jacob Reed will line up in row 7 alongside Leander Gabrielson. Matt Hollabaugh for Satellite in 15th. Silvio Lazar in 16th. Amon Law, Brandon Stanton. James Wagner, Jackson Glenn Austin, and Jason Green round up the one car field.
And sorry, I realized that the overlay is showing a little bit of a glitch there with the row numbers. And I just sent our dev a tersely worded wet letter to get that fixed. It's the last time we have to use it on an oval this season. Actually, I will use this overlay in a couple of days. We'll have an encore presentation here at the Mile in the Formula Indy Series on Wednesday night. So he'll need to get that to me. Getting ready to go green. Pace car is off, a very dangerous pit road entry, and we are green flag. The all-star duo, 2 drivers we might see going head-to-head in the Pro Series later this year. Robert MilewauKee and Daniel Falkingham, 2 Pro-level series drivers up at the front.
Field will string out relatively evenly for the first couple rows. You've got Clenworth and Dahlgren still side by side. That'll resolve itself off turn 4. Rest of the field strum out single file now to work on to lap 2. A lot of players blue I'm seeing up near the front of the field.
And it's good to see everyone still honoring Justin, our fallen comrade, who passed away a couple of just over a week ago. We still miss him, and a lot of the community still honoring him. In fact, a community member, Robert Milewaukeee, Purple Lap, did a 24-hour IndyCar stream racing at Bristol, and that is 100% something Justin would love. I would not like it, but Justin would love. And he did a 24-hour stream and raised about $900 on behalf of Justin.
Yeah, it was fun to see Blake McCandless. I believe he did over 7,000 laps at Bristol across the 24 hours there.
What was his best time? What was his best time? Do you remember?
I don't know. Bulk of the laps I remember being about 11.4, 11.5. So it's definitely a lot to take in around that half-mile concrete.
Yeah, I could definitely see easily a couple of thousand laps turned very easily there. Watching the closest battle on the racetrack, Ty Quilla. He goes underneath Clindy. Clindy kind of stays high and lets him have it. 2 teammates there. Just behind them is Alan Berteau, second in the points. And I still have all the graphics on the screen. I apologize. This is one of those days that I am not working right today. So I apologize about that. Here is the starting lineup one more time. I do want to apologize about that as well. And again, this is what happens when we do things on a Friday. Again, I really apologize about that. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's do a reset. Sorry about that again, but Robert Milewaukeee is your leader. Now, Jesper Dahlgren just getting around Daniel Falkingham. We'll talk about Daniel Falkingham here in a little bit. Falkingham now back to second. Now, Jesper is a teammate of yours, Jacob, and he was telling me before the race that he feels he has a pretty good setup, but he has a very large measuring stick that he needs to measure that against, and that's a car currently about 2 seconds up the road from him.
Yeah, it's certainly something that a lot of work went over the course of the week. Of course, we had races here Monday night in the Open Series, Wednesday night in the IIS here. So
Caution.
Oh, caution.
Leander Gabrielson on the front straightaway.
It's like maybe loose off turn 4. That seems to be the trouble spot we've kind of been hearing about, especially this week. This is, I believe, the first time we've been to Milwaukee since the hybrid was introduced, and that's played kind of a bigger sticking point, I'm sure, with the rear end of these cars.
Let's go back and take a look at that. He is pointed in the right direction now. So we'll take a look and see what happened. I think he was coming off of 4. You're right. He is in the neighborhood of one of the power slide cars back there. It's Jason Brophy. And yeah, just a lazy spin off the corner. And let's just, from your point of view, you also drive these cars an awful lot, Jacob. Are you chalking that up to hybrid deployment maybe too early, getting into it too much early? What are you kind of chalking that one up as?
This is the Milwaukee Mile. That's what I'm going to chalk that one up to. You look at this place and you think, man, this thing's flatter than the state of Kansas, which, by the way, is noted as being flatter than a pancake, for those that forgot. But, you know, it's one of those tracks where it looks symmetrical, and then you stare at the track map a little bit harder and go, wait a minute, that's not symmetrical at all. And just getting on power here is very tricky, especially with how much steering wheel angle you've got to have in the car to really get it up off the corner. And we're seeing pit stops here, and that's another trouble spot here with how tall or how small the boxes are. Yeah, and it's definitely, let's talk about getting on the pit road here, Ryan. It is like threading the eye of a needle with a tiny piece of thread. I mean, there is no pit lane or pit road to get in the in the lane. That's what I'm trying to say. It's almost like an exit that you would see like in a construction zone. It's like road, opening, and then road, wall again. I don't know if Ryan is still there.
Yep, I'm still here. Sorry about that. My microphone is muted again. But yeah, it's what as much fun as this track is, the pit entry can be a difficult one, and it's caught me out a few times just because of you're trying to slow down so quickly, and I'll be honest, trying to get into that pit entry, I have hit those yellow, can't remember if they're tires or water barrels, but I've hit them a few times.
Jacob, you talked about how flat this place is. Milwaukee does measure in at 9 degrees of banking. You can't see it, but it measures in at 9 degrees of banking. And the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has 9 degrees of banking. You've driven on it. I've driven on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway before. Do you believe that this place has 9 degrees of banking, or is it more of an optical illusion?
They're going to have to point out where they're measuring it. I don't think there's anywhere in Hecate that's all.
Getting ready to go green. Getting ready to go green this time by as we watch that pace car dart into that very narrow pit road entry. It is going to be Milewska, Dahlgren, Falkingham, Tyquilla, and Clindy. So a whole lot of road racing and independent up there with Daniel Falkingham, but a pro driver, and the six-time Oval Series champion Robert Milewska at the lead. Alan Berteau in 6th position. He is currently 2nd in the championship points, and he will probably finish on the podium for a 2nd straight year. And he is looking good today. He's up in the top 6. Ricky Paz 7th. Jared Curry, another one of the road racing cars, in 8th. Caleb Brashear in 9th, and Alexander Shinov, who's also doing pretty well in the points here in this championship. You got a good look at those points. I kept them on the screen way too long, but he might be getting an opportunity to get on the bottom step of the podium for this championship, and he is a Division II driver. Rashad Craig taking a peek to the inside of Brandon Stanton. They're going to come side by side off the corner. A little bit further forward, Jared Curry is in a battle, a 3-car battle with Ricky Paz and Caleb Brashear.
And you see working off the exit of 4 there, working up near the high side. He was especially one of the cars Monday night that was making that high side work really well for him. And I think that's part of what's helping a lot of those road racing, those Alliance cars really power through the corners, is being able to work those lanes where kind of typically we don't see a ton of traffic.
Oh, Ricky Paz up into the gray in the wall. Ryan saw that. I'm getting his reaction, and almost picked up Caleb Brashear as a passenger.
That was as we like to call it in Scotland, a squeaky bum moment.
Now, for some reason, my overlay is still showing Jesper Dahlgren as Jesper Orman. Orman is a family name of his. He has switched to Dahlgren. So if I say Jesper Dahlgren, it's Orman. If I say Jesper Orman, it's Dahlgren. I have to look into that and see why it's showing up that way. But, hey, the man that goes by many names. But you have a lot of wins like he does. You can be called anything you want except late for dinner, I guess.
Certainly always a front-running contender each and every time he gets out. We haven't seen a ton of him kind of week in and week out, but when you do get to see him, he definitely makes it known that he's there.
Yeah, and being a European driver, he loves the ovals. He loves the ovals. I mean, he's very much like our version of Arie Luyendyk, so to speak. Remember Arie Luyendyk, all of his wins in the IndyCar Series came on an oval, and he was a European-bred driver. So, yeah, he loves the ovals. Falkingham to the inside of Clindy. 2 drivers that were battling last night in the Elite Racing League in their doubleheader from just down the road a piece in Chicagoland. Clindy won race 1. Falkingham is the points leader of the Elite Racing League. He came into the weekend, or the doubleheader in the Elite Racing League, up 22 points and left the doubleheader up 25. Not the best performance he was looking for, but a net gain out of everything. All things considered, especially at being a race at Chicagoland, Jacob. You know how those races go. Coming out of 2 races out of Chicagoland with a net gain of 3 in the points, not too bad.
Yeah, certainly a lot can happen in one of those races at Chicagoland. You know, you talk about walls, right? The backstretch wall at
Right.
Chicagoland's A really easy one to get into. It's hard to judge, right? The letter D is a very hard shape, or a hard letter to remember for some. But speaking of walls here, this iteration of Milwaukee is rather old, right? It's been a while. I want to say iRacing quoted it in their update today that this is from about 2009, which sounds about accurate given the much outdated signage around here at the mile. But you look at the straightaway walls here on this iteration, there is no safer barrier on those straightaway walls. It is hard concrete directly into the wall, and that interacts a little bit differently than you may be normally expecting with a safer wall, just because it's perfectly flat. There's not any give to it, so it's going to be definitely rough if you see more drivers, as we kind of hear cars every once in a while grazing those walls. They could potentially get stuck up in those.
Watching a battle a little bit further on back, Robert Milewaukeee is actually, you know what? I think we should transfer to Milewaukeee because Jesper Dahlgren is eating into that lead that Milewaukeee had. Now, Ryan, I don't know. We know Milewaukeee is very savvy. You pretty much see him when we have him for ovals for the IIS, but we see him just about every week in, week out on the oval side of things. Could he be playing a little bit of rope-a-dope here? When I say rope-a-dope, meaning, he has a big lead. He could throttle back a little bit, maybe save some fuel. All the while, Orman could creep in, but never really get much closer than a second. But Orman is right there at about that second mark now.
Yeah, it could be a case of just Roberts maybe just wanted to try and build a little bit of a gap. And then basically, once he has a reasonable gap, maybe just back off slightly and look after the tyres, and as you mentioned, do a bit of fuel saving as well. So, plus you've got to remember this race is 250 laps, so that's a long way. So maybe he's taking inspiration from Rick Mears and looking after his equipment.
You are a man after my own heart if you're going to mention Rick Mears, who of course has many wins at this racetrack. Watching and riding with Jesper, and looks like Robert has got 2 lap traffic that has held him up a little bit. They are going around Jackson, Glenn Austin, JGA. We can have our own Van Ginsbergen driver here with the initials like that. Watching Jesper Dahlgren here as he gets down into 4th gear, into turns 3 and 4, down the front straight, up into 6th gear. Again, it's more than just turning left here at an oval, Jacob. You're working it every single lap. You're changing the gears every single lap. If someone's watching this and says, this is IndyCar, and they just turn the car left and the downforce holds them in, they need to come and drive the IndyCar here a change.
I mean, we already saw it earlier with the caution that came out. The downforce doesn't always hold good, right? There's still a lot of reliance on those black cubes or the black donuts holding you to the ground, right? That tire can only do so much. You can only do so much with the steering wheel. It doesn't always go to plan with these rocket ships planted to the ground.
Jesper Dahlgren on the inside of James Wagner. Wagner in one of those Meyer Shank liveries from XM Radio. Ricky Paz in a battle now, a continuing battle with Caleb Brashear. Caleb has shed the Freebird. Oh, Ricky up into the wall off of 4. Caleb has shed the Freebird livery. I don't know if that's a good luck or a bad luck thing, but he's back in his regular livery for Team I5G, which I do like the livery. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the Navy's camo look. And if you do see a lot of fog, that is because, well, here, it's 95% humidity.
They got the sky about as close to crying as they can get before the tears shed. That's for certain.
Jason Brophy to the inside of Stanton. And move the former Elite Racing League IndyCar Series champion up a spot in the 14th. But Stanton, Stanton takes a peek, but it looks like that Power Slide livery, Team Hype livery, is just going to work overtime on the high side. Brophy started back in 26th, or excuse me, he started in 11th, excuse me. He's down 3 spots, but he is working his way back up into the field. Only 21 cars started here. A slightly bigger field than what we had Wednesday night. Currently 17 cars still on the lead lap. Back up front, Robert MilewauKee now leads and extended his lead by about a quarter of a second. Aquila is in third. He gets on by some lap traffic of Lazar. 250 laps. Very long race here, very long race. This is the third ever IIS race here at Milwaukee. We raced here in 24, 25, and then, of course, this year. This is the highest strength of field we've ever had for an IIS race here at Milwaukee. 46-16. For the longest time, when in fact this racetrack has, I think, has just as many starts. I have to double check that, and I'll double check that again here. But from 39 to 66, they had 100 lap races here in those older cars. Then from 67 through 83. And it's hard to believe up until 83 when they were still, those cars were still pretty fast. They raced 150 lap races here. Then from 84 through 98, which I kind of thought the 200 lap mark was kind of the benchmark for a while. I was wrong. 84 to 98, it was only the time they raced 200 laps here. That's not a very long period. 99 through 2001, they did 225 laps. CART, when they came here, took it up to 250 from 02 to 04. Then when the Indy Racing League returned, they went down to 225. And then since IndyCar has returned, it has always been at 250 laps.
Well, I think it's also helped now is if they're going to keep doing the double headers, you know, maybe they'll sneak in a 500 miler in there once, get everybody to show up for one day instead of 2. Make a dream. That would be
interesting. What I've learned from IndyCar history is that there's never been a 500-mile race. I got to double check this again. I'd have to double check, but I don't think there's ever been a 500-mile IndyCar race on anything less than 2 miles. And that includes, Jacob, I don't know if this includes a board track in the Chicago area. Back in the 1910s, there was a 2-mile board track, and it was turned out to be the only 500-mile race ever held at a board track in IndyCar history. The old Chicago Speedway, not Chicago Motor Speedway, and not Chicagoland, but Chicago Speedway in the 1910s. Board racing in IndyCar history was very popular back in the 1910s and 1920s. In fact, this facility right here that we're watching dates back into that facility, and it started off as dirt. Started off as a dirt track at the fairgrounds, and has since been paved over many times. And we obviously see a temporary pave job done in this scan, and we will see what the new track will look like here. And you were just talking about that. That came out. We've known about it for a while, Jacob, but that came out in today's upcoming release notes for the next build, right?
Yeah, that it did. We'll see the walls be blue, but I am observing kind of the player's blue machine of Matt Hollabaugh working on Alexander Shinov. here for 11th.
Yep.
They're trying to hunt down Rashad Craig, and they're all within about a half second. Or sorry.
Yeah, and well, they want to get going because look who's behind them.
Yeah, that's the I guess the third car in that group that I was trying to find. There was Jason Brophy hunting them down, but you know, going back to that, you know, the walls will change colors. They'll be the blue that they're appropriately are now. I suspect the asphalt's going to feel a bit different because, as far as I'm aware, the last time this place was repainted was 2004, and it's had, you know, 20 plus years of Midwestern winter thrown on top of it. An interesting tidbit that some people might not know is that this track's actually built basically right where there was a creek heading towards turns 1 and 2. So I want to say it was last year for the state fair. They had everybody parked on the track like they typically do, but the track filled with water in the corners and basically flooded people out. So where they had to come back the next day once the drainage finally kicked in to get their vehicles.
Caution on the racetrack. I don't know where the caution happened. Someone's going to have to tell me.
Amon Lal.
Amon Lal on the front stretch. We'll check out what happened to the European as he comes off of turn 4, and this might be very similar. You tell me, Jacob, what do you think? Very similar to what we saw before?
Looked a bit higher speed to me, but that might just be getting the loud pedal down earlier. But once again, turn 4 showing its kind of its ugly head, if you will.
So we are back under caution at lap 54. And the top 9 did not come to pit road last time in our earlier caution at lap 10. I would imagine we are right in that range, Jacob, that we will be expecting to come to pit road. If we're looking at, I think, a 4-stopper, 5-stopper, this is right when the window opens. I have my numbers, and it's not up on the screen right now, but this is right when a window would open that you would want to hit it anyways, because mathematically it makes everything really easy when you're right around lap 50.
Kind of split the race into fifths, if you will. I believe you could maybe extend the fuel run out to 60, 65 laps on the extreme end, but it's very tough to save gas around here with just how much you're staying in throttle around here. Is even when you're lifting, you're still kind of just barely in it.
And a lot of the drivers that came in that early pit stop decided to come in again. And I think Ryan, I think, unless I see something different, I think everybody just basically resynced all of their pit strategies and they're all back on the same strategy again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like everyone's pretty much doing the strategy and just topping up, and yeah, it's pretty much all back to square one. So I'd say to see how the race pans out once we get back underway. But yeah, I kind of had a feeling that this early stage of the race on what are we on now, lap 55, or just about to come to the end of lap 55. So yeah, I think everyone's just basically dived in and they decided to top up and they reset their strategy, as it looks like someone further back in the field is diving into the pits to, I guess, top up again.
Like James Wagner is coming to pit road, Jason Green coming to pit road, and Silvio Lazar is getting the waiver round, so that will give the control of this restart back to Robert Malechka, who has led them all as the purple lap started from the pole. So 56 laps into this thing, he has himself a great grand slam on an oval right now. Let's see if he can hang on to that. But right behind him, Jesper Dahlgren, he's going to have a lot to say about that. Ty Quilla in third, Daniel Falkingham in fourth, Glindy in fifth. Those cars in second, third, fourth, and fifth, all honoring our good friend Justin with that player's livery or player's blue livery. We're getting ready to go green this time by. It'll be Malechka, Dahlgren, Quilla, Falkingham, Glindy, your top 5. We're back underway here at the mile. At Hollenball, attacking underneath immediately on Ricky Paz.
It was kind of the first car I saw shoot down to the bottom there. He's going to be put under fire from Jason Brophy on the outside now. Brophy will clear off of 4. Let's follow on down to 12th. And that big move for Jacob Reed, I believe, to the inside there in that bright yellow machine.
And the Dollar General car just dives on in there. Just like Ed Carpenter did when he drove that. Let's see. Ed Carpenter's driven the Dollar General car. Sarah Fisher drove it. Jacques Villeneuve drove it at the Indy 500. I think Paul Tracy drove it at the Indy 500.
I believe so. Was that with what team was it? Was it a?
I forget what team it was, but it's that livery's seen the rounds in IndyCar history for sure.
I think I'm trying to think of the team that Paul Tracy raced with that sponsorship. I think is it KV Racing? I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Cal Coven and Vassar Racing, yeah. They won. I think they won the Indy 500 with
Tony Kanaan.
Tony Kanaan, yeah.
That was back in 2013,
yeah.
So that's Jesus, making me feel old now.
You're getting up there, man. You're like me. To the inside,
Yeah.
One of the other old guys here, Jason Brophy, to the inside of Ricky Paz. Up ahead of Ricky Paz is. Go ahead.
No, what I was about to say is you've got two kind of older guard drivers in the green and black machines of Rashad Craig and Jason Brophy trying to tackle on the young blood of Brashear and Paz. And
Craig with a win earlier this year at the Indy 500, or at least the Indy 500K here in the IIS, to break a bit of a drive spell for the former Open Series champion. Here comes Jason Brophy to the inside of Ricky Paz. Ricky Paz took the white flag, battling for the lead last night at Chicagoland and came up short. Unfortunately, a little bit of driver contact going into turn 2 caused him not to make it around to that checkered flag. He's looking for a little redemption today. But Rashad Craig, now, can he do what so many other drivers, and I want to say 9 other drivers in IndyCar history did it. Now, this is when Milwaukee used to be back-to-back with Indianapolis. For the longest time, Milwaukee was back-to-back. I want to say for about 50 years it was back-to-back, give or take. I could be wrong. And I'll research that one real quick. But Milwaukee was the first race back. There have been 116 races at Milwaukee, by the way, in IndyCar history. So there's been more IndyCar races. Ryan, okay, just put this place in age and consideration. There have been more IndyCar races at Milwaukee than there has been at Indianapolis.
Well,
didn't expect that one, huh?
I honestly did not expect that. I thought it would have been the other way around, in all honesty. Just with how long Indianapolis or the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has been around.
This place has been around longer.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked by that.
Starting to see a battle brew for the 4th spot. Kyle Glenworth, Daniel Falkingham. They've been going back and forth. Glenworth's finally going to clear in 1 and 2 here, but they were going side by side through 3 and 4 for about the last 4 or 5 laps before Kyle could finally get alongside or further enough ahead to make that move stick.
Falkingham, again, he is the current points leader in the Elite Racing League. Caution on the racetrack, and it is, it's 3rd in points. Alexander Sheenov, and again, it's off of, I think, turn 4 again. And it took out 2 cars. Himself and somebody else.
With that one.
And we'll see who else is involved. What happened here? Much the same. Oh, and a death wiggle. Oh, and that caught. Not sure who that caught. That I don't know who that caught.
I think that's the 18 machine.
No,
19 machine.
We will go back and rewatch it here and get a closer camera shot of all this.
Oh, that's Leander Gabrielson, the 16.
All right, yeah, there we go. And yeah, big death twitch into the wall. And Gabrielson has already had an incident earlier. Oh, look at that. Let's he's in that Dale Coyne livery, but watch this. Just from his in-car point of view. Gonna get a little bit of flight time here. And just everything happens so quickly. The closing rates are incredible in these cars. And that was, Ryan, that's a little bit more than lifting and trying to brake. I mean, as soon as you see it in front of you, and we'll watch it again, and we could talk through it, and we'll go back a little bit further, go full speed. As soon as he sees it, he's already in it.
Yeah, it's one of those pretty much nothing you can do sort of deals. It's basically, or you don't have enough time to react. It's, yeah, just so unlucky.
Remember, the rule of thumb is about a football field a second in these cars, and we're on a 1 mile oval, completing laps in about 20 seconds. So our third caution of the day. Anyone come to pit road? Any takers that time did we see?
Everybody outside the top 5 now came down, seemingly. That'll go back to James Wagner down in 15th, I believe. So 6 through 15 are going to be all out on fresh rubber, seemingly. Or at least some variation of rubber and or extra fuel.
Extra fuel, yes. And there are no tire limits here in the IIS, and there are no tire requirements here on an oval race in the IIS. That has not been built into the sim yet. We only have one compound that we run on ovals. And so Clindy is the first car of those to come to pit road. Staying out, Robert Malechka, Ty Quilla. So it looks like your road racing teammates, Jacob, have split strategies. Caleb Brashear picked up some track position. He's third. Matt Hollenball also splitting strategies with his fellow Alliance members. He's in fourth. And Jacob Reed in that Dollar General car, he's also picked up some track position, but immediately lost the spot to Clindy, who wants by quickly.
Kyle's going to make do with whatever he got coming down the pit lane as quickly as he can. Of course, the closer the cars are together, the faster you can pass them because they're closer to you.
So, yeah, it looks like Clindy's trying to make a move into up the inside, sorry, and yeah, manages to get it done. But yeah, I thought he was going to run wide there for a second, but managed to pull the move off.
The drivers that have won at Indianapolis, going back to what I was talking about, purple lap there, Robert Malechka, 165 flat. Going back to what I was talking about with Rashad Craig, and here is Rashad in that battle of the green cars. Lime green cars, him and Brophy. Brophy is now up inside the top 10. He's in the 10th spot. There have been 9 drivers that have won at Milwaukee and then at Indianapolis and then followed up with a win at Milwaukee, if I could talk. Robert Malechka, purple lap, a 165.1, just a little bit faster that time by Pat Flattery, AJ Foyt, Allenser Sr., Johnny Rutherford, Gordon Johncock, Tom Sneva, Rick Mears, as you mentioned earlier in this broadcast, Ryan. Allenser Jr. all won from when he won here in Milwaukee after winning the Indy 500 a week before. The last driver to do it, anybody cared to gather a guess on the last driver to do it?
Give me Montoya.
You are correct. You got the year.
2000?
You are correct. And what was the unique thing? And you're not required to answer this one. If you know the unique thing, what made that win unique between those two races?
Well, it's 2 different series.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Triple crown for Jacob. Yes, he won 1 week in the Indy Racing League in an IRL car, and then he comes here the very next week, and he gets in a kart car, different engine, different chassis, and he wins the race again. Do you know the other bonus question? Do you know the other unique thing about that win when he won here in 2000?
Does it have anything to do with the Toyota banners on the wall?
It does. He won the first ever race in IndyCar history for Toyota.
gave me the graphic before I got in here.
I know. I forgot I did. Yeah, here you go. Here are your track stats and track facts. The track record, 172 by Elio Castroneves, but then you see the kart record at 185, the USAC record, the AAA record. There you see the 9 drivers have won at Milwaukee as competing under more than one sanctioning body. 10 drivers have backed up a win at Indianapolis. That's 10, not 9, not 10. And then Juan Pablo. The all-time wins leader here at Milwaukee, there's a name we never talk about unless you're at Indianapolis and you're talking about an old-timer, Roger Ward, with 7 wins here. He is one of 3 drivers in IndyCar history that have, I think it's 3 drivers in IndyCar history that have 7 wins at one racetrack. All right, I'll throw it back to you, Jacob. You're on a hot streak. Can you tell me the other 2 drivers that have 7 wins at a single racetrack and what racetrack that might be at?
I'd throw Dixon and then Ohio out there, but I don't think that's enough.
That's one of them.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That is one of them. The second one is a driver that, ironically, despite having extremely bad luck at the race of the week before here at Milwaukee, he always had bad luck at Indianapolis. He had 4 wins here. He's second all-time in wins. Michael Andretti. Michael had those 7 wins at Toronto. Those are your drivers in IndyCar history that have 7 wins at racetrack. Roger Ford, we just never talk about him, but he is an oldie but a goodie. Watching this battle between Hollenbaugh and Klindy, 2 Alliance members. What else did I miss there? Johnny Rutherford, Tom Steva, Paul Tracy. We talked about Paul Tracy a little earlier. Mario Andretti, Al Unser, Bobby Unser, Gordon Johncock. Each with 4 wins. Michael Andretti had 5 wins here. I'm mistaken. I thought he had 4. I'm thinking of Papa. Papa had a very bad wreck here. I want to say 86 or 87. I have to go back and look again. I always get the date wrong. He lost his front wing on the front straight and backed it into the turn 1 wall. That wreck is actually on YouTube. You should check it out. It shows you the importance of a rear wing here at a 1-mile racetrack.
Of having some confidence running where the other cars aren't, as Jason Brophy's powering around on the way outside.
Whoa!
Down spots of Jarrett Corey and Jacob Reed up ahead in variations of gold and yellow.
Curry gives him a little bit of fade up high, feeds the dirty air to Brophy. At a racetrack known for beer, cheese curds, and bratwurst, feeding someone dirty air is not preferred here. As Curry goes around Reed. Right now, Robert Malechka, your leader, and he is dominating. This is his 3rd career IIS race here at the mile in Milwaukee, and he has won the previous 2 editions here. So he's looking to go 3 for 3. And that's going to lead to another question I'm sure someone has. Has everyone ever won Milwaukee in the real IndyCar Series 3 times in a row? I don't know about that. I have to look that one up.
Well, if we paid attention to the graphic, there'd be very few options in terms of people who could have done that.
Right, right. It's going to have to be like a one of those that have at least 4 wins.
We got to have at least 3 if they've won 3 in a row.
Right.
Dahlgren moves to 4th. There was a couple that had 4. Car still on the lead lap, back to Brandon Staton in the 14th spot. Closest battle right now still looks between the Rogue Racing cars of Dahlgren and Clenworth for 4th and 5th.
Watching that one.
Still got a lot of players blue consolidated towards the back portion of the top 10 there, back to Hollabaugh down in 7th. So that's 4 of those players blue schemes in a row. Caleb Brashear kind of quietly moved up into the 3rd spot here. He's been one of the cars that stayed out that last time through the cycle, but he's kept the track position so far.
And I've heard, probably not the way I should have heard about it, but I've heard the I5G team has been putting in a ton of work here lately on working on setups and working on bettering their performances. And right now, it's I say it all the time, Brian. I say it all the time. You hear me say it all the time on all these streams. Iron sharpens iron when you drive this car. The more you put into this car, the more you get out of this car. And the more you practice, the more that practice is going to pay off. And it seems to be that practice is paying off for Caleb Brashear and Team I5G. They are worked their way up to 3rd now as we are nearing the 100-lap mark.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. I think they say the more, like you say, the more you practice with this car, the more you race with this car, the more experience you get, and it's basically the more experience you get with it. I find it's on the road courses anyway. I find it's all the more you practice with it and they learn about the car, the easier it becomes to set up. But I think with the hybrid, the system being implemented as well,
Good point.
It's made it a little bit more. I wouldn't say complicated, but it requires more time.
Let me transition to you through the follow-up question to Jacob. Just talk about we talked about how busy you are in the cockpit as we ride with Caleb right now. As we see in front of him, there's a pass for track position. But let's talk about how busy you are in the cockpit for these cars. You do still actively drive this car. Some laps at these racetracks, you're adjusting the weight jacker every single lap. You're not adjusting necessarily the roll bar, anti-roll bars every single lap, but you're adjusting those through the course of a run. And then on top of that now, on ovals, you have to regen and deploy that hybrid. Your fingers are almost getting as much of a workout as your arms are, I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of amongst the first of many to coin the dance revolution for your steering wheel kind of mentality with how much you've got going on in the cars now. And I think you mentioned how you might not be adjusting roll bars corner to corner. This might be one of the few places you might. I remember, I think it was Brandon Trost was on record saying there was a point in time he was actually adjusting roll bars mid-corner at the likes of New Hampshire. So certainly a lot to tackle, and there's a lot of things that you don't really think about sometimes because it becomes ingrained in the muscle memory after you log 1,000 laps at a track like this.
Nick Sadiq would be proud of that mention of Dance Dance Revolution. He likes that game. I would think more, and I'm going to date myself here. I don't know, how much time do you have on a PlayStation 1, Jacob?
Oh, well, I would have had a GameCube as a kid, so
okay.
I didn't really have the PlayStation 1.
So you never got a chance, or did you ever hear about Parappa the Rapper? Parappa the Rapper game. That's I guess it's kind of the Dance Dance, the DDR version of a game like that they'll be playing right with the button mashing. Yeah. I was just saying before we went on the air, I was excited how these early videos of Grand Theft Auto looked. I'm like, I'm at over 50 years old, and I don't get very excited about video games anymore. But that looks pretty interesting.
Certainly going to be essentially the most anticipated game of the year. I'm pretty sure pretty much the entire month of October is completely barren for releases in the video game department because everybody's trying to stay away from GTA 6. But you know who's not trying to stay away from the number 6? It's Daniel Falkingham. He runs along in 6th, hunting down Kyle Clenworth for a spot inside the top 5. This is going to be the third of 3 cars that came, or a third of a number of cars that came down that last time. behind those two Rogue Racing machines of Dahlgren and Clenworth. Started making some inroads. He's maybe falling back a couple laps now as Clenworth approaches some lap traffic here down the front stretch. We'll see how this shapes up as we get towards kind of the little over the halfway point of their run here.
Talk about the line that Falkingham's using. He's actually clipping the pit out rumble strips in turns 1 and 2. How does that help his car?
Well, I think it was Scott Dixon at some point pointed out how the bottom of this track is rather slippery. You can kind of get an extra bit of turn, extra bit of grip, kind of holds you down just that little bit better if you get all the way along the rumble strip. I think I've seen cars even go as far as using the pit access lane in some cases to try to keep their car kind of nestled in on the low side here as we watch Falkingham navigate this lap traffic here. Off of turn 4, clears that machine. He's going to have to get back into the crosshair, or I guess put the crosshair back on to Kyle Clenworth here. But yeah, he's running nice and low. Clenworth, maybe that's the big thing too, is he's trying to hunt the clean air down on the bottom side of the track there.
Today's coverage of our special Friday edition of the IIS Top Split presented to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the stream description. I believe they are going to be at the Sim Gaming Expo here in a couple weeks. So if you're looking for a new pair of sim racing shoes, a new pair of sim racing gloves, even want some championship trophies and rings for your leagues, check them out at 4dracewear.com. The link is all in the description. You can also check them out at the Sim Gaming Expo here in a couple weeks in Schaumburg, Illinois. You talked about putting the target back up on the car. I know we talk about these cars kind of like as mini jet fighters. Jacob, did you ever use the crossbar, the aero screen roll bar in the middle of the windshield there, the windscreen? Did you ever use that kind of as a reticle for aiming?
I tend to use the kind of the bottom portion of the dash. I kind of split it in halves. I kind of view the portions I can properly see out of where I'm looking towards. I mean, I'm one of the many that opts to kind of transparent the actual bar in the center.
Oh, okay.
That is an option, right?
Yes, it is an option.
Where
yes.
we're not, many of us aren't viewing it in three-dimensional space.
Oh, slide job for Falkingham in front of Glindy. Glindy didn't like that. He's going to the inside. I kept it on, and I used it as almost like as I was flying a jet fighter, and I used it to air-to-air combat kind of as my aiming point.
Well, I think the big thing with that makes it tricky is, especially when you get close at a track like this, we saw that Mo Falkingham pulled on Clenworth there. It gets hard to see the car in front of you and how much that center post kind of takes up. So you can kind of lose sight of the cars ahead of you if you stay too focused in on it. So gotta look around and above and below to really get to where you're going here. As Falkingham's starting to work ever forward here.
Yeah, he's pulling away a little bit.
Good ways to go.
Yeah, it's pulling away.
Back up to Jesper Dahlgren.
So now behind Clindy is Hollenball. Hollenball has lap traffic in between himself and Clindy, but another one of the players' liveries, players' colored cars. He goes to the inside. Not much room there between Green and Hollenball, but they make it work. And then speaking of green, here come the green cars behind them. It's Curry. He's in the yellow car, but here come the green car duo. They're in the same shade of green as we have drivers coming to pit road. Scheduled stop. Matt Hollenball, pit road.
Yeah, 61 laps. That's kind of the edge of the window for them. I think we're going to see Caleb Brashear down there as well. Jacob Reed is in. Or no.
Moletska's going to have to come in too, and that's going to be, it's going to ruin the perfect day for him because he's led them all to this point. Here he comes.
See him peel off here. End of 63 for him, so he's definitely pushing that limit of the window, if you will, in his machine. So that'll give the lead over to Jesper Dahlgren now.
Remember, Jesper
stopped another dozen or so laps left.
Yeah, he stopped at lap 70. I was getting ready to say that. You read my thoughts, man. Checking the chat, I think Clinty's mom says that you are the trivia champ.
I just paid attention to my notes.
I did send them out ahead of time. I did.
I seem to remember at least a couple tests I took. Those you basically looked at your notes until about the last 5 minutes before the test came up, and you just remembered everything. So, school taught me something.
The cramming sessions. Glindy now has his teammate on his 6 right now. Taking a look to the inside, Jared Curry. This is a battle for 3rd place. Curry also stopped at lap 70. They are now 50 laps into their stint. And as you mentioned, they got about another, I don't know, about another 10 at most, probably. That's all been under green flag conditions.
Yeah, I suspect to see about 10, maybe 12 at the most. I mean, we saw people stretch it to, looks like Jacob Reed stretched his out to 66 laps. He might have really committed to a fuel save for him.
That's pretty impressive for Jacob. Congrats. There he is. The Dollar General car, the budget sponsor with the budget economy on fuel. Alan Berteau, he's at 8th spot. He is 3rd in points, actually 2nd in points. And also the teammate, Robert Milewaukeee, fresh tires, purple lap, 165.2 purple lap. Oh, he is back hot on the racetrack. Here is Brophy and Glindy. Glindy fading late in the run, Jacob. It doesn't look like his setup is really optimized for late in this run here. Robert Milewaukeee, another purple lap, almost a 166.
I think the big thing, too, is he's had to do a lot of lane exploring as he's kind of fallen through the field, right? We saw that battle with Falkingham. He was running a little bit higher up, Falkingham down lower. And it might just be where he's trying to put his car, where he's trying to carry the speed, has done a bigger number on his tires than maybe he initially thought.
Back to Alan Berteau. He's in 8th spot. As he's in a battle for position in front of him. That's Ricky Paz. If he does finish in 2nd, which he probably will in the points, and I had him up on the screen for a long time. I'm not going to show him again. I apologize about that. But he is looking at a 2nd straight podium finish in the IIS, 2 years in a row. So that is a nice milestone. He doesn't have the win this season that he's been looking for in the top ranked or the top split and races of record that we do here on the channel. And like his teammate, actually, Kevin Burrell, still no wins on a race of record. Ryan, I mean, he's done everything. He's been, I call him, Kevin Burrell has done everything that he needs to do consistently in every race that he's been in. So in races where he is the favorite to win, where it isn't the high strength of field, but he's probably the #1 driver because of iRating and everything, he wins those races. But when he's in the big strength of field races where he might not be the #1 driver, he performs consistently well, where he's still able to collect enough points to maintain his lead in the championship. So it's like you're doing everything in both columns. You're checking all the boxes, except here in the top split, you're not getting a win, but everywhere else and on the non-broadcast stuff, you're doing all you need to do to win the championship, and that's how he has a big lead.
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting the results that he needs, and yeah, it's always about. I always maintain it's not always about winning races. It's just about being consistent and picking up good points and basically just being consistent and finishing races. If you can in the top 5 or top 10, it can definitely help towards clinching a championship. And Kevin's not been around in the broadcast races this season, or not every broadcast race anyway. But he's doing what he has to do.
Ricky Paz was all the way under that pit entry road last time by Jacob. We've actually seen his teammate, Indy Kirchbauer, the Prodigy, do that in some other series. We're watching from this very humidity-driven camera from the P1 airship, but he's able to rotate underneath those rumble strips to even get to the pit access road to help his car rotate.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier, and that's not something that we tend to see a lot of at other tracks, even at the likes of, say, New Hampshire, where you might see it in a stock car around there. This is really one of the few places we see drivers really utilize all the paved surfaces, if you will, especially in the opening end of the track here. Ideally speaking, you do it when there aren't cars trying to get off the pit lane. So Ricky's been fortunate to...
I have seen. I think I've even broadcasted races where there's been a wreck that's happened like that. Actually, someone hit a car, and then I think one of the cars coming off pit road. And let's talk about that. Also, Jacob, getting on the pit road as we watch these green flag pit stops occurring right now. Getting on the pit road is hard, but getting off a pit road is just as hard. You have a very narrow road there.
Yeah, it's a very narrow exit, and it's downhill for the last little bit of it, too, heading towards kind of the end wall, heading off into turn number 1 here. And it's not something you'd really think about all too much as being a huge issue, but with how tight that exit winds up being, you know, if you're maybe on the outer lane in a yellow flag cycle, you have to let cars in at a certain point, or you're not going to be able to exit the pit lane alongside another vehicle.
Watching Rashad Craig make his stop. He's down and away. And that gives the lead back to Robert Malechka, who's trying to put Hollenball a lap down, but Hollenball's like, nope. I will get that back, and I will hold you off on the high side. Hollenball is going to have slightly fresher tires, I think. No, they're about the same time, so just Hollenball with the preferred line. But a little bit of rear gunning action happening right now because Robert Malechka has his teammate just ahead. It could maybe throw a little dirty air to make things a little difficult for Matt in that blue Justin car. Oh, coming off the corner. Woo. You know, these are two drivers. If they were to make a collision like that, that would have been unstereotypical of both of them. These are two drivers with a ton of experience in the community, a lot of starts, championships between the two. And Hollenball stays high, and he gives a wide berth this time to Robert. But the high momentum on the high side allows Hollenball to pull right alongside. And I think he clears him this time, but Hollenball goes to the inside. He's not done yet. Does he slide up? No, he does not. He holds his line, and that allows Robert to use the momentum on the high side to clear him.
And you are entitled to fight for your spot as a lap machine. You know, that at least the rule of thumb is the same one that they utilize in the real world, where it's once you're a lap down to the field, you got to start kind of getting out of people's way. But Hollenball did his best effort. Malechka ultimately makes his way on through.
If you enjoyed P1's coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series, the Top Split, special Friday edition of the Top Split, and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing, and while you're at it, smash like and click share. And give us the old thumbs up as well. We would appreciate it. Despite my leaving the standings up way too long at the start of the race.
Thought we were maybe going to get a bit more of a battle between Brophy and Malechka, but looks like Malechka had easy pickings with the power slide teammate of his. So now he's going to be hunting down Jarrett Corey off turn 4.
I don't think his teammate really wanted to battle him too hard. And as someone, Jacob, as someone that races with a lot of teammates, you plan those moves in advance, right?
Well, you'd certainly think so. I mean, the last thing you want to do is get in an unnecessary collision, especially in a situation like that where you've got a leading car, right? You know, at the front of the field coming by you at various points in time. So less hassle in the better. But I mean, look at where we're at in this race at this point. We're a little bit past the halfway mark. We've got just 6 cars on the lead lap of 21 starters. Long way left to go, and that just goes to show how difficult this race can be, right? You've got these varying pit strategies with how hard it is to get on and off the pit lane. That could be all it takes to be staying on the lead lap versus going a lap down. It's just a rough pit cycle. So
Christian Steele in chat says Rob is going beast mode. I always want to say with Rob, when is he doesn't go beast mode?
Well, you got to cue the Jaws music, especially when he starts at the back of the field. So he's chopping through everything.
Oh, he goes 3 wide with lap traffic there. That's Stanton and Wagner. I mean, I like to watch wrestling. I always say to beat a man, you got to beat the man. That's a Ric Flair saying. And that's Robert Milewski. I don't think he does it with the woo that Ric Flair does. If he did do that, that would be hilarious, because that doesn't seem like that would be Robert's personality. At least not the personality that I know. Maybe when he's on comms with his teammates, maybe he'll pass someone and he'll go woo. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, it would not surprise me if that did happen. I mean, I know not in IndyCar, but say during a 24-hour race at Daytona, I think it was ages ago, there was nothing going on, so me and my teammates were just messing around, and yeah, every time I went by someone, it was like woo.
So to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and the man right now is Robert Milewski. Ty Quilla, your teammate. Jacob, he has very quietly worked his way. I shouldn't say quietly. He's been up in the top 5 all day long, but he's very quietly worked his way in the second position. But, man, it's a distant second. Ryan just talked about doing the 24-hour race, which is like class racing. We don't do class racing here in IndyCar, but if we did, Ty is going to be best in class right now.
Well, yeah, I think the big thing here is we talk about it's kind of a community running gag if you've got multi-class races at a lot of the road courses. I mean, this is textbook, right? You've got Milewski essentially on an island all by himself, about half a lap ahead of anybody else in the field right now, and everybody else is fighting for what's left, right? And then you've got variations all the way down the field, but that's also part of the fun, right? Is everybody's got their own battle to contend with, top to bottom. That's what makes this community as much fun as it is.
And we are about 100 laps to go, and I just got my my pop-up on my phone that says that we are 45 minutes away from IndyCar practice 1 from Milwaukee. So maybe we get done in time, we can actually watch practice live. Watching Jesper Dahlgren, Caleb Brashear. It's a good time while we're in the middle of this race where not much is going on. Let's go through the field, shall we, Jacob? Your leader, Robert Milewski, Mr. 6-time Indy Oval Series champion, has a win earlier this year at Phoenix, and finally broke through and got his first, I want to say finally, it just seems like finally broke through earlier this week here at Milwaukee in the Oval Series. When we are on ovals here in the IIS, then the Oval Series will also have that same oval on their schedule, and he got his first win of the season earlier this week in the Oval Series, and he also got the win in the Open Series. So he's looking to do the weekly Triple Crown, win an Open, win an Oval, and win an IIS.
It's kind of the first time in a while you've been able to do such a thing, as I want to say that was a relatively recent change that
yes,
I believe the management teams between Oval and Open were going to line all the ovals up together to try to get everybody to be well practiced and ready to go for these IIS races on the ovals. Seems to have worked to decent effect. I haven't looked at the numbers necessarily myself, but I feel like turnout's been better at the ovals since that adjustment's been made. We're going to have to check the books, if you will, but Robert having quite the week here at the mile.
I will say that I'm a little disappointed, but this is 4 p.m. on a Friday. Normally we do this 2 p.m. on a Saturday, but keep in mind, I think Fox goes live at 2:30 for the green flag for race 1 tomorrow at 2:30. So there was not a greatest field Wednesday night, but Wednesday night's not really known for being that night to race. Also, you got a lot going on Wednesday night. Horizon is racing Wednesday nights. FIS is racing Wednesday nights. Those are other IndyCar leagues here in the community. So the car count was down for Wednesday, and we got 21 that started today, which is one more than what started Wednesday. And I can't imagine that there's going to be a lot of people racing during the real IndyCar race tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I could be wrong, but I want to say that the car count might be down, but there's that could come down to a variety of reasons. I mean, this is, you talked about this with me before the race, Jacob. This is well, a little bit during this race as well. This is a lot longer race than it looks. I mean, it is 250 laps, but it's a very demanding race.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be a road course, as many would attest to. Is that, you know, you're constantly on the steering wheel, constantly doing things. You know, I think I've seen, at least in past times that we've come here, people are making potentially multiple wing adjustments in the pit lane over the course of this race, just because of how much the track kind of comes and goes at various stages throughout the running here. So it's just a lot to be keeping track of. You know, it'd be almost crazy to think that I don't know if did we get the full Nashville distance?
No. Oh, we did. Yes, we did.
Right.
We had to do that. The pros didn't have to.
Well, they had some extenuating circumstances with that one, right?
We got those laps back at Washington, D.C.
There we go.
Did you guys know that was the longest road course race in IndyCar history since the late 1960s?
Yes.
Amazing. And normally the road race distance in IndyCar is right around 200 miles. That's about the 200 miles in 2 hours. That's kind of what it boils down to in most cases. For the longest time, I think kart was either 200 miles or 2 hours. I don't think they have the 2-hour time limit anymore. But the last race they had, IndyCar road race that they had, that was longer. Robert Malechka 166.4. On 46-lap-old tires, by the way. The last IndyCar race that we had that was longer than what we raced at Washington, D.C., 1969.
Well, you want to talk about amazing feats. We've got 4 cars on the lead lap, and the last car that just got put a lap down just a couple laps ago, Coke Series driver Daniel Falkingham.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. He is actually, we got a car coming to pit lane, and he's going to get that lap back. Robert Malechka's scheduled stop. He went 47 on this stint. He's going to have to stop one more time. Daniel Falkingham, with the only driver in this lineup with a black license right now. And I believe that's by virtue of racing in the Coke Series. When the IndyCar Pro Series kicks up, we don't know if it will or not for sure. If it does, those that qualify through the qualifiers, Jacob, they will receive. Oh, wait a minute. There's those that have already been promoted, right? From finishing in the standings from a season ago. There's those that already been promoted. And then there's those that are relegated to having to go. So we have promotion and relegation. Here we go, Ryan. We'll have this talk again. But we have those that have been promoted. If the Pro Series kicks off again, they will get their black licenses back if they were in that, top 20? Is that what it was, Jacob? Top 20?
Yeah, I think it's 21 because they're trying to have a field of 33. Right?
Okay. And then if you qualify through the Pro Series and you get promoted, you get qualified through the qualifying series and you get promoted to the Pro Series, then you'll receive the black license. And as that series is active, you get to hold that black license the entire time when you're on iRacing. And I think when that series is over, then you'll get returned back to your blue A license, I think. I could be wrong.
I think that's how they do it for this series. There's a couple instances in which you're eligible but not in it. You'll get a purple one. Is how they do that.
Robert Malechka to a 166.9, and that's with fresh tires. Lindy, he's having a rough race, Jacob. He has fallen down to 11th spot. I was kind of talking to him a little bit yesterday, and he was having trouble finding the balance. And what his teammate could drive, Jesper Dahlgren, who's in second, and what he could drive were two drastically different things. And he was not necessarily voicing frustration, but you could kind of hear that what he could handle and what Jesper could handle, Jacob, are two different setups.
Well, a lot of that too is just going to come down to comfort, right? Is maybe even if you can handle it, it's not comfortable enough for you to run a full stint on, right? At the end of the day, the stopwatch doesn't lie. What's faster is faster, but there is something to be said for being able to get the car around comfortably enough where you don't feel like you're going to, step a tire wrong at some point and send your car into the fence on your own, right? That's the last thing you want to do is have an incident that essentially you can't blame on anybody but yourself.
Ty Quilla, who inherited the lead when Robert Milewaukeee came to pit road, he is on pit road for his next to last stop. Now, he went 57 this time, so let's break out the calculator at 175 plus 57. That brings him 20 laps short, so he is going to have to do a late stop. Jesper Dahlgren picks up the lead. Jesper Dahlgren is 43 laps into his stint. Now, Jesper is going to be getting a little bit closer to that 200-lap mark, and the closer you get to that 200-lap mark, the closer it is to your final stop. I don't think he's going to be able to get to that 200-lap mark. We'll see. So they're 25 laps from now. He's at lap 44 of his stint. I can give you stint counts. Laps since last pit. There you go. Last pit lap, sorry. I mean, pit, here it is. Try to get it. Stint length, there we go. So we were going through the field. We kind of stopped. Jesper Dahlgren is the leader right now. Robert Milewaukeee, we did talk about him. He's in second. Then we did talk about Daniel Falkenham with the black license and the rarity of seeing him drop a lap. We don't see that very often. We see him many times, about once a week in the Elite Racing League. We do not see him. I think those are fixed setup races. This is an open setup race. So remember, everyone's developing their own setups. So maybe he and his team doesn't have the state secrets that Robert Milewaukee's team does. They are guarded like state secrets, those setups. Jared Curry in fourth. Let's talk about the new car, Jacob. How much do you think everyone goes back to square one with setups with the new car?
Well, I think it really does depends on how much has actually changed, right? Hearing talk of, there's only so much they've actually changed in terms of the pieces put together, if you will. I mean, obviously the chassis is different. They're starting from at least some level of square one, but ultimately, a high-powered open-wheel car is going to be a high-powered open-wheel car. Maybe some of the balance changes front to back, if they've adjusted weight balance, that'll maybe play a little bit of a factor. But I think ultimately, the cream's going to rise to the top pretty quickly, I think.
We have now worked our way to Jason Brophy in fifth, one of the teammates to Robert Milewaukeee. Rashad Craig in a very similar colored car, but representing Indy Alliance Racing. He is in sixth position. Alan Berteau, second. I keep saying third in points. He finished third in points last year. He's second in points this year. That's probably where he's going to finish. Frenchman is currently in seventh, looking for some good points to sew up his season. Glendy is at eighth right now. Ty Quilla right behind him in ninth. They're on slightly different pit strategies, so I would imagine Quilla will go on by Glendy at some point. Right behind Quilla, a distance, is Ricky Paz, the maestro. He is in 10th position. Caleb Bashir was high as second at one point. He is now down at 11th. Jacob Reed also was high in the top 5 at one point, picking up some track position. He's down to 12th. Matt Hollenball in 13th. Brandon Statton in that red and black car in 14th. Jason Green in the black and green car. We've got a couple of black and green, 3 black and green cars in this lineup. He's in 15th. James Wagner, he is in 16th. I believe this is his first start here in the series, so welcome to the top split. And Lazar, also in another black and green car. He's in 17th. We started this race with 21 cars. 17 are still running. Of those cars still running, 9 are on the lead lap. That will change here in a little bit when those cars come to pit road. We suspect Jesper Dahlgren is coming to pit road very shortly. He is your leader at 54 laps into his current stint. And that will turn the lead back over to Robert Malechka. Daniel Falkenham is in third. He will come to pit road here very shortly as well. Jared Curry, Jason Brophy, Rashad Craig, Berteau, all in the same boat. Christian Steele says, let Rob cook. I believe he is the master chef right now. I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of running out of questions to ask this guy. He's done everything. He's swept Indianapolis in the official Indy 500 and Open 500 on 2 occasions. He's the reigning defending PRI Hoosier 500 champion. He is the defending Indy Oval Series champion. And when he clinched that championship, he got his 6th championship that made him the all-time leader in that fixed oval lineage in terms of championship. And he won, when he clinched it, he won the Triple Crown. He won the IndyCar Triple Crown that season as one of a few handful of drivers that have actually won a Triple Crown in the Oval Series. I mean, he has literally done everything. And I asked him kind of what's the last checkbox, and I think the last checkbox that he really hasn't checked is winning that Pro Series championship, and I know he's come close. But there's not much left. We talked about this before. I talked about this before with him. This was asking him if he was going to be in the Elite Racing League Indy 500, which is one of the more predominant and more sought-after Indy 500s in league competition in the community. And he has 3 wins, and he's like, I've won it 3 times. I'm like, well, it's a good point. So what is there left for Robert Malechka? Jesper Dahlgren, pit road. Yeah, you're right. You gotta stack it. You gotta stack it. He's 4th all time in just about every key stat in the Oval Series. So I guess, you're already in the top 5, Jacob. You might as well make the run for P1. You're that close. You can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. Alan Berteau on pit road for a scheduled stop. He is done down and away. Clindy on pit road for a stop. He is done down and away. Ricky Paz making the turn on the pit road. He is done down, or actually he's getting to his box, and he will shortly be done down out of the way. This is race number 16 of the IIS season. We will not have a doubleheader like the real IndyCar Series. So next week will be race number 17 of our championship, and that will wrap up at Laguna Seca. But we started off this season back in March and February at Sebring with Christian Hilgard winning. Robert Malechka won at Phoenix. Peter Berryman won our first ever race at St. Petersburg. Barber, we raced at in the rain, and Brandon Rosenborough won that race. Jaden Munoz won at Long Beach. Christian Hilgard won again at the Indy GP. Rashad Craig won the 500. Peter Berryman then went on a bit of a run. He won Detroit Gateway and Road America. Esteban Rodriguez won the 11th race of the season, which was the 100th ever IIS race, and he won it with a Grand Slam victory. Grand Slam race victory at Mid-Ohio. Ty Quilla won at Nashville. I think that's right. Peter Berryman won at Portland, again at Montreal. Esteban Rodriguez won at Chicago, another Grand Slam victory. Ryan, so far, I mean, you've worked most of these races this season with me. We got one more to go. That Laguna Seca race is always a slog, man. That's just 95 laps. It gets a bit of a boring race, but that's how IndyCar chose to end the season. But what have you thought of the season so far? We're going to race this car for one more season after this, and then we get the new car.
Yeah, it's been good fun to call these races as always. Yeah, some races have not been the most exciting, but yeah, when it comes to the ovals, the race has always been great to watch, great to call, and yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I dislike Laguna Seca
I won't say I dislike it either, but it's one of my least favorite racetracks to drive at and also watch a race at, unless it's the real IndyCar Series. Then I don't mind it.
I'd rather, if it was me, I'd rather have I'd probably do what we've done a few seasons back. What was it, 2021, where we had the final round at Long Beach.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
I wish that would happen again. I thought some fans weren't really didn't really like it, but I thought it was super cool.
I liked ending the race on the oval. It kind of really reminded me of the old IRL days when we would wrap up at Auto Club or Fontana, or if that is the same thing, excuse me, or Homestead, Texas. We wrapped up before. I like an idea of wrapping up in an oval. Laguna Seca was traditionally the last race on the schedule for many years during the kart PPG World Series days.
There is something I wish that IndyCar would do, but I don't know if it will ever happen. I wish that IndyCar would go back to Surfers Paradise.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Because the racing around that track was always fantastic to watch.
Where Nigel Mansell got his first ever IndyCar win in his first ever race. And then when Michael Andretti returned, and the only seat, I think the best seat available to him for that season when he returned was Chip Ganassi Racing. I think he won the very first race for Renard there at that racetrack. He drove his one season for Ganassi Racing.
Yep, and I think that was the race that ended, was it under darkness, I think? Or close to darkness anyway.
I would love to have that scan. We don't have that in iRacing. We have Adelaide is the closest we have to a racetrack in Australia. I do remember the old IndyCar sim. IndyCar Racing 1 had Surfers Paradise. Man, I hated that racetrack with so many chicanes. So many chicanes. It's like you leave one chicane and then there's another chicane. It was like a less organized version of Montreal. Montreal has all those chicanes, right? But at least they're separated by a little bit, right? Seemed like it was one chicane after another in Surfers Paradise. Dyquilla Pit Road. This will be his final stop here.
Ran a fairly short stint, just 33 or 34 laps that last time through.
Kind of short fill it a little bit. Oh, here's Robert. Robert's on pit road. So Robert is also doing a little bit of a short fill. He only went 42. What's the benefit of what they're doing now, coming in early?
Well, they lessen the window that they're going to get undercut by, for one. And for two, well, you don't have to fill up as much, right? You're not going to be put in a danger zone of being, the last 10 laps of your stint being the last 10 laps of the race, for one. And then, you can hang out there, lighter tank. I mean, we're going to see the fast laps probably come in this final stint, I would suspect.
Well, Robert came to pit road as a leader, and the other benefit you talked about, shorter stay on pit road. He came in as a leader, and he left as a leader.
We'll sit for now with 8 cars on the lead lap, back to Ty Keela, Jason Brophy on the tail end of the lead lap. They're about 17 seconds adrift of Robert in the lead there, so they're kind of on the other end of the straight, now fighting through 3 and 4 as Ty Keela shoots to the inside, makes the pass. He's up to 7th.
Get the camera back there to Ty. There he is. The Ty is on very fresh tires. Brophy, about 15 lap, 17 lap old tires. Alechka, the leader. Jesper Dahlgren, which is showing up as Orman on the tree here. I think I know why it's showing up like that. I'll have to check and see if I have a rogue CSV file sitting in my ATVO directory somewhere. Caleb Brashear is worked his way back up to 3rd. Brashear pitted on lap 175, so he is due to come to pit road shortly. Jesper, he pitted at 191, so he's 23 laps in. He's going to have to stop again, but it's going to be a late stop and dash. Daniel Falkingham is in 4th. If you just joined us, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here. This is P1's coverage. Special Friday edition of the IIS Top Split. Normally you see us on Saturdays, presented by 4D Racewear. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Ring the bell. The next race for us here in the series next week. One more time. We were just talking about it, Ryan. One more time. That's not the schedule. That's the schedule. Let's get that off. I want to show this. There you go. The preview for Laguna Seca. One more time. We'll put the whole band together back one more time next week when Antonio comes back, and we'll call the last race of the season. Hard to believe it's already over almost.
Yeah, the season's absolutely flew by, and yeah, I can't remember when was it the season started this year? Was it March?
March, February, something like that. Started before the time change. I remember our Saturday races were at 1 p.m. for a couple of windows.
Yep, and it's just absolutely flew by, and looking forward to next season already. And yeah, like you say, I think that we're using this current IndyCar again next season, yep. and then after that we'll be switching or basically jump into the new car. So interested to see how that goes, and yeah, it's pretty much it'll require all the teams to go back to square one and learn how to set the car up. But I think once the teams and drivers get on top of it, you'll see the usual suspects up at the front.
Gotta wonder how many. I don't know how often, and maybe Jacob, you worked on open setups. You can talk about this. This iteration of this car has changed so many times since we've got it. Remember, it didn't have an aero screen. Then it got an aero screen. Didn't have a hybrid. Had a hybrid. The center of gravity of these cars have changed quite a bit from what you initially got to kind of what we're going to finish up with.
Yeah, and it's swung around a number of different ways. I think there's constantly breakthroughs being made, even when there wasn't tons of changes going on. But especially within the last 6 or 9 months, with all the tire changes, the hybrid being added, you've had a lot of adjustments to just everything on the car, more or less. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they took every piece off this, even the virtual car, and it would look nothing like what we had even a year ago at this point, in terms of everything you've got to do to it. But that's part of the fun, right?
Right.
It's always an ever-evolving, ever-changing thing that we got to stay on top of.
And that doesn't even, I didn't even count all the different tire models that you guys have got to work on since this car has come out. I remember about the time I joined iRacing was the IR18 was out, but they didn't have the aero screen yet. And so we had that open cockpit with that bar in the middle. Remember that bar? That little thing that stuck up, that was supposed to help deflect things if a real driver got in a situation. I was still puzzled on how that worked, but it made the car, so obviously they thought there was some safety value in it. There was that little fin that stuck up right in front of the cockpit. And then we got the aero screen, which eliminated the need for us to worry about mapping a tear-off button.
Well, now you just have to map the one to get your crew to tear it off.
Watching Matt Hollenball, Ricky Paz getting near Clindy. Oh, this is a rematch from last night. These two took the white flag at Chicagoland in race 2. Clindy was looking to sweep the evening at Chicagoland. It was one of his home tracks. In fact, Milwaukee will be soon to be Clindy's new home track. I believe he's getting ready to kind of relocate to the area. I'm not doxing him anything. But anyways, last night, Clindy took him and Ricky took the white flag side by side at the start-finish line in the Elite Racing League, and then they didn't make it on the other side of turn 2, unfortunately. Gave the win to Gavin Hibbs and got his second ever win in the Elite Racing League. His first win actually came at the expense of this guy right here, Jason Brophy, at a track very similar to this at New Hampshire.
Similar but not the same.
Similar but not the same. You're right. How would you call New Hampshire? Would you call? We're watching Paz and Clindy again, close proximity. Repeat from last night. Oh, Paz goes underneath the yellow. How would you classify this racetrack in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, the turns, as opposed to New Hampshire? Would New Hampshire be tighter corners than this one?
Very much so. I like to think of New Hampshire as Big Martinsville, even if you're not using the brakes quite as much.
Okay.
You know, it's long straights, tighter corners. Obviously, you know, you're dealing with a track twice as big from the Martinsville to New Hampshire comparison, but the corners are at least shaped fairly close to the same. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if, much like Milwaukee, there's more to meet the eye of the New Hampshire Motor Speedway as well, but I think Milwaukee kind of stands alone even still to this day as a very, very unique track. There isn't really anything I could compare it to that's similar to it. I mean,
no.
You could throw, you know, a dozen different mile-and-a-half tracks together and you find a couple that are probably pretty the same.
I have to go back and look. The Chicago Motor Speedway, the 1 mile, we talked about this last night, and yes, last night's broadcast, the 1 mile oval that I think Chip Ganassi owned or promoted the race at. It used to be a former horse racing track in the Chicago area. This is not Chicagoland Speedway. I'm talking about the Chicago Motor Speedway. Kart raced at it. It was a 1 mile oval. I think that was very similar. Ooh, big twitch there by Ricky Paz. Very similar to Milwaukee, I think. Could be wrong.
Yeah, it could potentially be the closest point of comparison if I've got the track shape in my head correctly. But
now, there was a track planned in West Virginia. Either they're going to be called the West Virginia Motor Speedway or the Mountaineer Motor Speedway, and initially it was going to be a complete copy of Milwaukee. And the IndyCar Series, oh, Clindy up into the wall trying to pass Ricky Paz here. This is for 10th. This is back in the 70s in USAC, and they were going to join the USAC schedule. And something happened. The track didn't get completed, didn't get started. Something happened. I forget what it was, and eventually the commitment fell. But there was supposed to be a 1 mile clone of Milwaukee in West Virginia that they were supposed to build, and they never did. I find these lost racetracks very fascinating. Hollenball, purple lap.
I think the big thing, too, is you think about how long this track has been here and how much even just the landscape around it has changed, right? There's a whole neighborhood behind this track now. You know, you've got essentially a completely developed area on both.
Well, this is the fairgrounds, right? This is also the fairgrounds.
Correct. I mean, if you look off in the distance in the current scan here, you can see kind of the Coliseum, if you will, where they do, you know, horse demonstrations. And I think this year they had Frisbee dogs or something. They got all sorts of fun stuff going on in the Coliseum there. But yeah, you can see some of the exhibitions for, you know, all the farm animals they bring out here. The Wisconsin State Fair is a great thing in its own right. If you could take like a whole month of August off and just hang out in Milwaukee for like the whole month, I think you'd have a lot of fun between the State Fair, the races here at the mile. The States have Labor Day weekend. You can head up to Crandon. I mean, That's coming up. I think the iRacing event's going on this weekend, so just a lot of stuff to experience. Cranberries. We forgot about cranberries.
Watching this battle between Paz and Clindy continue. Indianapolis had 3 races in Indianapolis on the USAC schedule at one point. This was in the 60s, I believe. They would race at Indianapolis, of course. Then they would go to the fairgrounds, Indiana State Fairgrounds, and they would race on the dirt 1 mile oval there. And then later, a 3rd race was added on the road course at IRP. Yeah, they used to race at the fairgrounds on the USAC schedule in Indianapolis as well. There would be the one race they would have during the month of May, the big 500, and then when the fair came back, there would always be an Indy race or a USAC Champ Car race, I believe, during the state fair. It's funny you mentioned the state fair in August. It always reminds me, I had a government teacher in high school, and he was a hard ass, and he's also served in the General Assembly in the state of Indiana. So you could not pull anything over his eyes. Caleb Brashear, Purple Lap 168. You couldn't pull anything over his eyes in terms of trying to fool him on anything, government-wise. And so I remember the kids would always say, "That's not fair. That's not fair." And his response was, "The fair's in August." I thought it was funny. It's just the fair's in August.
My math has done me correctly. I believe everybody up in the top 5 should be good on gas to the end here.
Yeah, we'll and we're only 6 laps from the end, to be honest. Robert Malechka pitted on 209, Jesper 191, Daniel Falkenham 192, Jared Curry 191, Rashad Craig 196. So they are all good to go, and we are only 6 laps from the end as we're reminiscing about things. Real quick, isn't the Harley Davidson plant headquarters not too far from here as well?
West Juneau Avenue. I don't know how far it'd be from the Speedway, but that's in Milwaukee proper. We are technically
West
in the
Allis.
city of West Allis.
Yeah, West Allis. Okay, I said West Allis. West Allis. Well, kind of.
People start just calling it Stallis.
So, kind of in his own neighborhood, in his own zip code right now. Kind of how this race started is exactly how it's going to finish. Remember, at one point we saw Jesper Dahlgren kind of getting in the neighborhood. Well, now he's cycled back up to second. Jesper's going to be a little disappointed that setup didn't get him in the second place. Adam Blocker checking in. He says, just power slide setup things, Steele. That is pretty much the case. The king of all setups is that power slide team hype. And they got another good one underneath this car. 2 laps to go here as we're going to finish out the last oval race of the season. And Robert Malechka is going to sweep all 3 races in the IIS, and he's also going to sweep all 3 races this week. Open, Oval, and IIS for the top split here at Milwaukee. We've called him the King of Indianapolis. I guess he is also now the King of Milwaukee. Move over. I guess Milwaukee's known as a home of the, not necessarily the home of the king of beers, but maybe the king of racing right now is Robert Malechka, the virtual sense. White flag is out. And for a second win of the season, there's your final lap right here. Sorry. He's going to get his second win of the season. Robert Malechka is going to back up that win earlier on the oval at Pocono. I wish it was Pocono. Phoenix. And he's going to be our version of Joseph Newgarden, our oval meister in the series. And he shows a little mercy and comes up short by not trying to put his teammate Profi a lap down. And Profi is the last car on the lead lap. A great benevolence there by Robert Jacob.
Certainly seems to be the case.
Jesper Dahlgren, best finish of the season, is second. What's that?
How about the cars that finish on the lead lap, too? You got Jarrett Corey up there, Rashad Craig. Quiet day for him. Top 5.
Willa and Brophy are the 7 cars that finished on the lead lap. So Robert's going to present the car at the start-finish line. Here are your results for today, our final oval race of the season, our special Friday edition of the IIS Top Split. I want to thank everybody for joining us. The weird day for me, I had to wrap up early from work and then get on in here. And to be honest, Jacob, I could have, there was probably another 2 hours worth of work that I could have easily done, and I just didn't have time to get it done. Robert MilewauKee with the win. Jesper Dahlgren in second. That's Jesper's best finish of the season, I believe. So congratulations to Daniel Falkenham. We will talk to him momentarily. He gets on the podium. Jared Curry, you mentioned him. He has a good finish. He's in fourth. Had a bit of a rough Wednesday night. He recovers. Rashad Craig, you mentioned him. Top 5, very quiet, but does exactly what you need to do. Ty Quilla. I think Ty would have wanted a top 5 out of this. He doesn't get the top 5. He gets a top 10, but he was in the top 5 for a lot of this day. Jason Brophy. I'm going to say Jason Brophy had a kind of your Luis Gonzalez Nunez driver of the race award-esque type performance. He went all the way to the back. He started in the mid-pack, and he only shows improved 4 spots. But he was way in the back at one point, remember. So he fought his way back to 7th. Alan Berteau, 3rd in points. A good payday for him at the pay window. He'll come in 8th. Caleb Brashear, he was in the top 10 for a lot of the day. And Ricky Paz, recovering from last night in the 14. The 14's had a pretty good relationship here with this racetrack. He comes home in 10th. Glendian 11th. Hollandball 12th. Jacob Reed 13th. Staten Green, Wagner, Lazar, Gabrielson, Sheenov. That's going to hurt in the points championship. I don't know how much it's going to hurt, but it's going to hurt. This might be his drop week. Amon Law in 20th. And JGA is in 21st. All right.
I think the best thing out of all this, MilewauKee, fastest lap on lap 249.
That's what they say for good salespeople, closers be closing. That's Robert. Just letting everybody knows that this is his racetrack, and we're just kind of borrowing it from him. So I just need to get some replays queued up, and we'll get into the interview room. Brian, your driver of the race.
A driver of the race for me would, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I would go for Robert, but I'm going to go for Rashad Craig. I mean, he had a good race, and I guess a bit of a quiet race as well for most of it. But yeah, kept out of trouble, and they came away with a well-deserved P4.
Yeah, I hear you there. That is your driver of the race, Jacob.
I'll give it to Jared Corey. You know, we don't see or talk about him on ovals very much, if at all. I don't know where he's been this season in the broadcast races, but I think this is a good showing for him. I mean, short track ovals, those road course guys, they go together.
I will say that I popped in on a practice session with Jared involved yesterday, and he was working real hard. I think he was working with Jesper, and so he was definitely putting in the work. So I would say that that paid off. That paid off today. Let's get into the interview room. And let's see if Daniel Falkenham is not around. He might not know that typically we talk to him over on the Elite Racing League Discord. Let me send him, maybe he's not available. Let me send him a link real quick to us if he'd like to talk to us. He is welcome to. Copy, and then find him in my messages. There he is. But if he does pop in, we will bring him into the booth and talk with him. He doesn't. We'll just pay attention to see if he posts anything about it on the Discord server, the community Discord server. Make sure to check that out. Link to that, I believe, is in the description as well. So we will go to Jesper Dahlgren and bring him in. And joining us in the booth is Jesper Dahlgren. His best, I think this is your best finish of the season. Congratulations. You you were telling me, I don't know if I'm spilling some behind baseball news here or inside baseball news, behind the scene news, but you were telling me yesterday kind of the measuring stick. You felt good with your setup, but you really wanted to see when the Team Hype Power Slide guys got here, how you would hold up. And early in the race, you were able to cut it within a second, and then pit stops happened, stuff happened, and you finished second, but not as close to Robert as I know you wanted to.
Exactly. No, I mean, I was behind him, and there was an opportunity there to stop at that one of those early yellows and cut a stop. And I thought, you know what, this is probably my best chance because it's going to be really tough to get around him. It turned out that he was just too quick anyway. So I kind of wanted it to be that he had to overtake me on track and see what would have happened, but he just we never came close to each other. He overtook me in the pits on that one extra stop. So congrats to him. I think overall it was a fun race. I think our car is great. Perhaps not absolutely like a rocket ship, but I mean, it's so fun. It's been a real challenge this week. A lot of people have been trying to build sets, and it's kind of old IndyCar, you know, when there are huge speed differences. You got to be careful out there because the closing speeds are so fast.
Jacob's in the booth with us right now, and he's joined us for this race. You can go ahead, ask him any questions you want, Jacob.
Yeah, you talked about speed differentials, and obviously lap traffic plays a big factor at a shorter oval here. I'm not calling it a short track because it's not. But you talk about closing speeds here. Talk about navigating lap traffic around here, because you've got, it looked like today, pretty much anywhere you could make your car fit, it was a place you could make up time and make some good speed around here. Talk us through about navigating the traffic here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I knew that from around lap 100, when it was 150 to go two stops, I knew that I had probably second locked in. So from that point, you know, it's just, you have to be super clean when you pass those cars. You just gotta have to accept that you're gonna lose a couple attempts and just overtake them as fast as you can. I usually don't like to go around the outside because I feel like I'm more in control on the inside. It probably costs me a couple of seconds in total over an entire race. But I mean, it's fun. Everyone was very, you know, mannered out there, and there was really no issues, I would say. At least not for me.
Ryan, anything for Jesper? Oh, he's muted up. I don't know if he muted on purpose. He might have had to answer the phone or so. Okay, well, let me ask a follow-up here. Something that you might be a little proud of is I know that you were working with Jared yesterday, and he came through with a top 5 today. So 2 of you on the Rogue Squad in the top 5, and on top of that, well, if you want to add the Alliance member, Rashad finishes 5th and ties in 6th. So you obviously had some success, maybe not with the ultimate speed over the course of 250 laps here, but consistency brought pretty much your entire team kind of inside the top 10.
Exactly. I mean, it's not that often that you have almost everybody finish the race and, like, you know, in contention. I know that Clendy had I think he had side pod damage at one point.
Oh, okay.
Cost him a bit, but I mean, it's been a super fun week for me. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out this track and figure out the set, and I think we came pretty close. I mean, for me, yes, I enjoy racing these IS races, Justin Cup races against the best, but honestly, like, chipping away those hours, clicking springs here, push routes there, and trying to figure out how do you like the aero balance and everything. It's super fun, actually. I really enjoyed it, even though it probably was a bit too much, maybe 15, 18 hours, so a bit too much. But
Wow.
I mean, it's the last oval of the season. Justin Cup coming back next year, so I'm ready I'm ready to work really hard on the ovals for the team, and just trying to provide great baselines that we can work off of and get closer to power slide. That's the goal.
Any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone you want to say hi to? I do have your combined stats here now in the IS. Show this as your 28th start. You have 2 wins, 8 podiums. So get another podium today. 8 top 5s, 14 top 10. So it looks like when you finish in the top 5, you're on the podium. You got 1 pole to your credit. You have 147 career laps led. I think you led another 30 or so today. So you're in the 170, 180 neighborhood. For your career laps led. Your 2 wins, I think, was my very first IIS stream we did back in 2022. That was one of your wins. And then you did, I think you won one of the Indy 500 Ks in the past on a legacy scan. Those were your 2 wins. So getting close to another one, finishing second today. Congratulations. Get those shout outs in.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, the team, everybody stepped up this week and testing, giving me feedback and everything. So it was super fun. Just a great group of guys we have at SRA, for sure.
Congratulations. Good to see you in the lineup, Jesper. And we'll catch you at the next one, whatever the next one is. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That is Jesper. I just need to find him. There we go. And we'll just move him back there. And we did get Daniel Falkenham. He did join us here. Ryan had to step away. He'll be back. So if I see him, we'll transfer over to him to ask him questions. But we'll bring in Daniel Falkenham. Here he is. Another podium finish. Racking him up here in the IIS this season. Getting the podium finishes. Not too far, I don't think, in the future from getting your win here. But let's talk about, we saw you last night in the Elite Racing League, and that's kind of fixed setup. And we see here this afternoon in the IIS, which is open setup. What did you have? What did you kind of learn here? The difference between these 2 races. You actually, raced here in the Elite Racing League a couple weeks ago, kind of at a forgettable Milwaukee race, but not like that today here in the IIS. Talk about, first of all, the differences between those races and kind of what you found today to make you so fast.
Yeah, just definitely having that experience in the Elite Racing League race a couple weeks ago definitely helped me prepare to do this race. But with the open setup, it's a completely different beast because you get to work on the car, and I feel like they tend to be a little bit more free than what the fixed setups are. So I definitely had a bit of learning. I literally just threw on the P1 dock set and just said, have at it, and race qualified really well. And then we raced pretty good too, but definitely a lot of guys around me definitely had way more confidence than I did because I almost wrecked it off turn 2 on like lap 5. I don't know what lap it was, but we had to rein her in a little bit. But no, it was still a good time. I didn't even know I was going to be talking to you today. I didn't even know y'all were broadcasting today. I just wanted to jump in and race.
Surprise!
It's good yeah, surprise. Definitely good to talk to you. I was hoping I got to talk to you last night, but you saw the races we had last night that never went my way, but we salvaged. But yeah, it was good to talk to you this week at least.
Well, I mean, while we got you and talking about last night, I mean, you went into Chicagoland in the Elite Racing League with 22 points, and you net gained 3 after everything that happened. You can't feel that bad. I mean, I know you wanted more because I just know you as a competitor, but all in all, I mean, you come out of what could happen very bad. I mean, 2 doubleheader races, everybody, two races on a doubleheader, and they were full point races, but they weren't full distance races. So and also at Chicagoland in the IR18, where a lot of things can happen, and you had kind of one of those things happen to you in race 1, but I think it was race 1. But you were able to recover and make points in race 1, but you lost them in race 2, but still was a net gain.
Yeah, race 1, like, people were saying it's Seb's fault. People were saying it's my fault. I don't know what the friggin' etiquette is with IndyCar, but I feel like I got ripped off for no reason. But, I mean, it was tight racing because, like, from my point of view, I thought he was giving me the top. So I was gonna stay in it, but like it happens so quick where like it's hard to make a quick reaction time. So and I knew he was on better tires, but I had that top rolling last night, and so yeah, we unfortunately there, but we still gained points because Wildman had to pit again.
Yeah.
So we gained on that, and then race 2. I was supposed to start on pole, then my wheel was having force feedback issues, so I needed them to drop me to the back so I could work on it. Got it fixed, drove to the field, and then I decided to hit the wall out of turn 2, and I had side pod damage and killed my straightaway speed for the rest of the race. So I was definitely in a box in race 2, but we still salvaged, and that's important for a long season like this where even you got to make your bad days good. So and I think we did that last night. So but yeah, I mean, I still had fun with the races last night. Racing 1.5 miles in the IndyCar, like oval racing, does not get much better than that, and especially when you come to short ovals like we run today, it's just as good. So, but now we had a blast last night, even though it may not have gone our way, and we had a blast today. It's a good week of IndyCar racing for me, I should say.
Jacob's here with us in the booth. You got any questions for the only guy in the lineup that had the black license?
Well, I mean, you've probably tackled or, taken on about as many different tracks and different car combos as anybody, especially at the high level you do. I know you've seen me in the Lex of the Legends Road Cup as well. But, talk us through this track in particular. It's kind of an oval that I think kind of stands unlike anything else, both on iRacing and maybe just in general in terms of how it drives and what you have to do inside the car to go fast around here. So talk us about kind of just Milwaukee in general here.
Yeah, it's a very fun track. Running like short ovals, like I was talking with Gary, it doesn't get much better when you're running on a short oval. We had good fun with it, and but yeah, definitely very tricky, especially with how flat it is. Where I feel like it's one of those tracks where you can really use multiple lanes with just how flat the track is. Like a lot of guys around me were using like the higher lanes, which I, for whatever reason, couldn't execute as well as others. But as the race went on, I was doing a little bit more learning, and I feel like I got a little bit more of the hang of it, and. But yeah, just nothing much to say. Just I'll do love some short ovals because I feel like the driver has a lot more control than say we go to 1.5 miles and stuff, so or a 2 mile track. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun, and wasn't sure what it was going to be like with me because, like I said, my first ever open race on an oval, and I think we came out pretty good. So the old Rob Milewski P1 Docs was a ripper today.
And apparently, it wasn't the setup he was using, though. It's what he gave you.
It was a little different.
I forget the player that played for the Bucks. Is it Dale Ellis? Yeah, that was. And he hit nothing but threes. He was kind of the rival to Larry Bird, I remember, in the 80s, and he played for the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, you have been the king of threes for the IIS this season. A third at Road America, a third at Mid-Ohio, and now a third at Milwaukee. In 8 starts, you got 3 podiums, 5 top 5, 6 top 10s. You got only 1 lap led in all your racing here, but I think it's just a matter of time, just like we saw with the Elite Racing League, or what we're currently seeing with the Elite Racing League. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see more laps led and then P2 and then eventually a win here for you. So congratulations. Any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors before we let you go?
Yeah, just shout out to Rob on the win. Great drive by him, even with the extra pit stop. Great drive by him. Shout out to Jesper on second as well. Shout out to everyone who came on race. That was a very enjoyable race. Way to go green. Like, I was worried like there could be quite a few yellows, but for the amount of green we had, I think that made it a lot more fun. So shout out to everyone for having a clean race out there. Shout out to you guys broadcasting. Like I said, had no idea y'all were broadcasting today. I thought y'all were broadcasting tomorrow, but
well, if we went tomorrow, we would miss the real IndyCar race.
Yeah, I forgot it is a doubleheader.
Yeah.
This weekend, so
the method to my madness. Yeah.
It should be a very good show. But yeah, shout out to you guys broadcasting as always. Y'all do some outstanding job broadcasting.
We try. I had some production issues today, but hey, what we will do is we will see you in a week when we pick back up on the Elite Racing League next Thursday. But congratulations, though.
Yeah, looking forward to running it back next week, and then I think next week's the last race of the IIS.
Yes.
So, we'll try to be out for that, and hopefully we can have one more good performance to close it out. But
yeah,
looking forward to seeing you soon.
We'd like that. Talk to you later, Daniel. Congrats.
All right. Thanks, Gary.
I'm glad we got him in here. I sent him a message like, if you want to interview, come on in here. Let's bring in real quick before we do bring in Robert. I do want to give Rashad Craig here some TV time. He's one of our drivers of the races. Jacob, you said Jared Curry, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there is Jarrett. So we'll give them some TV time here on the post race. And they are the our analyst drivers of the race. And then we'll bring in Robert Malechka. We'll bring him in right now. Here is Robert. I don't know what to ask you, man. I think I've asked you every question there is to ask you. I will say that and we don't see this very often, and I don't know when this has ever happened. So maybe this is the first time this has ever happened. I have to go and look. You swept every race this week. You kind of did a Kyle Busch type of approach to Milwaukee, where he would win in all three series. You won in all three series, Oval, Open, and IIS, and you continue your dominance here in the IIS, winning your third straight race here. And I don't think anyone's ever done that, and I have to go back and check in real IndyCar racing. But I don't know what to ask you. Congratulations.
Thanks. Got past the lap this time, unlike last time, so I'm pretty happy with that. That was a bit nerve-wracking there because I'm a bit of an idiot, and had to save quite a bit of fuel where I was running probably close to 4 tenths a lap slower than what I could have. If not, maybe a little bit more. So kind of showed my raw pace there with 2 to go. And then I had to go instantly back to full save again. So yeah, short filled by about 4.5, 5 laps there, which made it not that fun. Couldn't go fast and carved my way through traffic. But yeah, regardless, happy with P1. It's fun to see the different strategies play out, and being able to push there a little bit and see what my pace was compared to others, and yeah, happy with it.
Jacob, you got any questions for Robert again? Maybe you got something different and I haven't asked him yet.
Well, I'll try to get a fun one in here, since there's only so many questions that could come to mind. I'm gonna go with what's your favorite track on iRacing that IndyCar's never gone to, Rob?
Oh,
never gone to?
Never. It's gonna test your brain just a little bit here.
Yeah, so
Mexico City Oval.
A unique answer. It's funny. Dan and I were just talking about that, which is very funny.
Oh,
yeah, because we're running fixed there next season. Anyways,
yeah.
This is a bit of a unique answer, a bit different than I think what you guys are expecting. But in Lionheart days, we used to run Phillip Island.
Ooh,
and that put on some phenomenal racing. Both tires really worked. It wasn't, it's not the track's not too complicated, but it has some really good features in it. Really good undulation, and great high speed, especially turn one. It was really fun, and but you're able to kind of have a draft effect, right? So I think, while I don't think they would ever take turn one in real life, I think it would put on a phenomenal race with how many different lines there are in some of the corners and how short the track is, while also having some really good long straightaways for passing.
That's a good point. CIS races there, and occasionally it shows up on the open side of things. But yeah, it's
a great track. It is so fun.
Been a while, and I forgot that there's so many tracks here in the service. I forgot that that was one of the other Australian tracks. I mentioned we were talking about Adelaide earlier, to stand in for Surfers Paradise, and yeah, there's Phillip Island, and of course. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different tracks here from Australia on the service. Wow. Again, I don't know what else to ask you. I mean, just why do you like? I mean, you race so well in Indianapolis, right? You like that place. What makes, whether it's open or fixed, what makes Milwaukee agreeable to you? Why the dominance?
Yeah, Matt Hollowell kind of asked me the same question, and it's interesting. Where Indianapolis, I prefer a extremely pointy front end. And I mean, I guess it's similar to here, right? But I think where this track really does well is for, I guess, myself, and especially Adam as well, is that we're really good with kind of managing wheel slip, and with not only our steering but also our foot, and we're able to, because of that, we're able to run even more front wing, which makes you in turn better in traffic. We're able to kind of position ourselves in better spots with kind of how we run this track, and honestly, it really just all comes down to that exit where we can really feel I guess for an example, if we overcharge a corner just a small amount, we're able to manage the throttlers a bit more, and it's pretty easy to do for us.
I did manage to find that stat. No IndyCar driver in real world has ever won 3 straight races on at Milwaukee. There have been drivers that have won 3 straight years, but remember, Milwaukee had 2 different races on the schedule. Roger Ward, of course, did that, and that's why he had 7 wins there. See, Tony Bettenhausen, Roger Ward, Bobby Unser, Tom Sneva, Michael Andretti, Rick Mears, Michael Andretti. Michael Andretti did it twice. He did it in 86 and 87 and 91 and 92, but never 3 straight. So those are all the drivers that won back-to-back races in the same race. Not the remember, there used to be 2 races here a season, one following the 500, and there was one later in the season. We're not counting those if you swept the season. We're talking the same race and the part of the schedule during the year. So those are you've done something that not even a real IndyCar driver has done. And we're not talking that we're running these at sprint races like in the Oval Series. We're running full-length races that you're doing this in. So I don't know if that helps add to the accomplishment anymore, but man, congratulations. You've done everything there is about to be done in these cars, and did another one today. Congrats. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to Adam, Alex, Jason on working on the setup.
Steele was shouting me on in chat, by the way.
Thank you, boy. And yeah, I mean, we don't know if pro's going to come up. Last time it was kind of 18 months, I think, between seasons. So if it's that same pace, it's probably going to be next summer or something like that. But if it does come up, we knew there's a decent chance this track is going to be on there. So we put in a little bit of effort just to set us up better in the future. But yeah, good job to Jesper for working the alternate strategy to there and making it probably pretty fun to follow on the broadcast, and whoever else kind of try that as well. And shout out to Dan. He told me that he ran my P1 dock setup, and he put it second in qualifying. So other than Power Slide, that's the fastest qualifying lap of the week. So to hear that kind of makes my day as well, and means that I'm I was doing my job that they hired me for. So yeah, and of course.
But I told him that he didn't get the super secret. I did tell him he didn't get the super secret one that you ran today. That's so you. He didn't get all the inside baseball stuff, but he got some of it.
I have it as probably 2/10, just a bit more off of ours. So
okay.
And he hasn't really run this car much at all. So with how big of a speed gap we have kind of to everyone else, I think it's a pretty good setup, especially for a baseline for anyone looking to kind of figure out what to do.
Well, there you go. Some inside baseball on that one as well. Robert Malechka. Let's see, 14 starts here in the IIS. 7 wins. So half the time you're in victory lane. 9 podiums, 9 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and 6 poles. You came into today with 1,230 laps led. I think you're going to leave here with another 200 plus. That's going to be like 1,400. You're now 4th all-time in IIS in wins, and you're 3rd all-time in poles. Congratulations. We'll catch you at the next one, man.
I will say to that, it helps that I'm an oval merchant and I'm just god awful at road courses. So I refuse to run those and only run ovals. It helps my stats a little bit.
Yeah, that's padding the old record book. But I got to think at one of these points that all of a sudden the lightning will strike you, and all of a sudden you're going to be really good on the road courses. And then when that happens, God forbid, God have mercy on all of us.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I'll probably shave my head if that does happen. I don't want to put the practice in, to be honest, and I don't really think I can get to the level of the top guys, so it's not worth my time. So yeah, thanks for everything you guys do, and take care.
You got it, Robert. Thanks. I believe you mentioned it, Jacob. The cream always rises to the top, and I know we also talked about how iron sharpens iron, and the more you put in these cars, the more you get out of it. I gotta imagine at some point that Robert is. We're going to start. We already know he has pretty decent performance on the road courses, but I got a feeling at some point that the inner competitor of him will come out, and all of a sudden we'll start seeing him stepping it up on the road courses. Not saying that he isn't, but I got a feeling that momentum knows no bounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that when you're good, you're good. I mean, we talked to Daniel Falkingham. I haven't seen that man drive a single car he can't be fast in.
Right.
Like, so the guys that are good are going to be good everywhere. That's what made the greats of the sport the noteworthy figures that they are. Your Andretti's, your Foyts, Kyle Larson's the one they talk about now. I mean, you put that guy behind the wheel of anything, and then they're gonna wheel it as fast as they possibly can. So, no doubt in my head that if Rob really wanted to, I think he could.
Ryan's not going to be able to come back and join us yet. He's still away, unless he just forgot to unmute and everything. But I would normally turn this over to him, get some final thoughts. Normally, this is when JP would be in here, and we would get some final thoughts from him and how he did his race. Final thoughts from you, Jacob. I just want to thank you for being available. Kind of short notice on a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock to do a 250 lap race that at one point, was kind of exciting, but not a lot of remarkable things going on. We got some good conversations in there, talked about a lot of things, but we got our last oval race in, and I just want to thank you for being available and your final thoughts for our final oval race here in the IIS before we move on to the final race of the season.
I mean, I just got to say, I'm glad this is probably going to be the last time we see, 2008 Milwaukee in one of these IIS broadcasts. I mean, if you look at the picture I have from when I was a kid, it looks identical to how we have it on the sim. I'm going to be glad to see the blue walls. We're getting the road course that everybody forgets is here. We're going to get that finally, so that'll be fun. So keep on the lookout for that one. I'm sure it'll crop up in some fun races at some point before too long here.
iRacing, if you want to scan a road course, you can come scan the road course at IRP here in Indianapolis. That would be historically significant to IndyCar, I think. It's funny you talk about you were in a go-kart as a kid. Compared to me, you are still a kid. I remember seeing that picture of like, you showed it to me. I have seen it. I forget where it's posted on one of the boards, and I'm like, man, you were tiny in that thing. But man, I would imagine that you were having a blast just racing that car.
It felt like you're at Talladega out there, man.
A 1 mile oval and that little go-kart. Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I bet you were having a blast, but you're still kind of a kid to me. But man, thanks for being here. It was good to have you in the booth. We'll get on it. What do we got for Monday night and Tuesday night with you here in the Indy Next? You are the lead commentator for Indy Next here on the channel. Indy Next season is going to wrap up next week. What do we got?
Yeah, we got it all in the state of California. Obviously, we'll be joining everybody at Laguna Seca Monday night. I believe that's 10 p.m. Eastern time for us in the Indy Next. And then Tuesday, we'll have Bakersfield, California's Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway will play host to our season finale. 100 laps under the lights on Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time for another short track bout for that series.
Imagine they haven't torn down that racetrack yet in Southern California. Every other oval gets torn down there. But again, there's nothing in Bakersfield.
No, it's like right off the freeway. They got basically nothing next to that thing. They got, the asphalt, the dirt ovals. I think they got a motocross track out there. So they got it in the right spot for now, but who knows? That might be
yeah, no kidding. We thought Fontana was in the right spot and Ontario was in the right. Even Riverside was in the right spot. No, those places got torn down. Maybe well, that's a lot of money to build another super speedway, but we know Kevin has money, but that's a lot of money. I don't know if we can expect that from him, but best wishes to that, keeping that speedway open, and congratulations to another successful season with you and you guys, you and Sophie, doing the Monday night and Tuesday night broadcasts once again here on the channel. So another successful season to you. So congratulations. Let's get on out of here. Give everyone back their Friday. They can start the weekend. Let's make sure that Ryan's not back. I'm sure we will see Ryan for sure next week when we wrap up. And that, again, that's going to be next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Right here on P1. Also next week, we will have Kevin Burrell, who will join us. He'll talk about his championship. It's pretty much he's clinched it, but he still will be here to talk to us next week when we wrap up So that's it for today from the Milwaukee Mile. Once again, your podium here. Robert Molechka sweeps the week here at the Mile. Jesper Dahlgren, best finish of the season, is in second. Daniel Falkenham matches his best finish of the season for the third time. He comes home in third. Join us again next week for Championship Saturday, round 17 of the 2026 IndyCar iRacing Series as the season finale. As the team of drivers head to WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Our P1 IIS coverage returns to its normal Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern time slot, and that's all next week. Hey, we love bringing you these races, but they're not easy for time and money to produce. If you share a passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IIS Top Split presented by 4D Racewear, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and any contribution is greatly appreciated. It's also pinned in chat. And we thank you for making us a part of your viewing during NTT IndyCar Race Weeks. But we do this all for donations, and we thank you for donating if you have done so. If you haven't done so, you got 2 more opportunities right now and next week to donate to the broadcast, and we certainly would appreciate it. Help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of today's race and enjoyed today's coverage. Support us by smashing like in the video. If you do, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so miss more P1's iRacing programming. The P1 IndyCar iRacing Series coverage top split broadcast is presented to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the stream description. Also, check them out. I believe they will be at the Sim Racing Expo in a couple weeks here in Schaumburg. Make sure to visit simracingexpo.com. Get your tickets today. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. All the links you need are in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, you can like us on Facebook, or you can follow us on X and Instagram. You can also find all of our social links on Linktree. The link is in the description. So for Jacob Collins, to Ryan Skywalker, everyone here at 4D Racewear, and everyone here at P1, I'm Gary Gatto-Sandall. Thanks for watching, and all of our men and women serving in the military as first responders. Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. And don't forget to make sure to catch the real stars and cars of the NTT IndyCar Series this weekend at Milwaukee for a doubleheader. First race, well, you'll see it right here on Fox. Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, right here, also on Fox on Sundays. Make sure to check your local listings for all those races so you don't miss them. Practice is already underway. We're a half hour into it, so we're going to go check that out right now. But thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next week when we wrap it up at Laguna Seca at the Corkscrew. See you, everybody.